All right. Cowboys get spanked. They get embarrassed in their home opener, 44-19, losing to the New Orleans Saints. Yeah, let's freaking talk about it.
Yeah, here we go. Here's it out for Lamb. He's got it. He's gone. This is history. It's never happened in the history of the NFL.
Thank you so much for jumping in for this post-game reaction video. Week 2 is over for the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys lose 44-19. And they got dog walked. They got embarrassed. You know, everything that you can think of, out physicaled, out schemed, out hustled. Everything, man. Every phase of football, they were embarrassed. And I hate to say that I didn't, I could see this coming. And I think real Cowboy fans know this. I think, Cowboy fans, I'm talking to you right now. You're not mad. No, you're angry. You're frustrated. You're livid. But you're numb. Because this has happened so much, too much, that you're like, yeah, that's it. Those are the Cowboys. You saw last week, you weren't like, my Cowboys are back. It was this performance where now you're saying, yep, my Cowboys are back. And Cowboys football is back. Because this is exactly what they do in this McCarthy era. This is exactly what they do. This is what they're best at. Not the 16-0 regular season home winning streak. Not the number one offense that everyone's been boasting about. Not the second in MVP running Dak Prescott that we've been talking about. No, the Cowboys do this where they get you hyped up. They get you excited. They get you motivated. They get you hyped that we could have something different, and they don't. And you know what it all is? I'm going to rant. I'm not going to be mad, but I'm going to rant that the Joneses know what they're doing. Because if you would have told me before the offseason began, what are things that would happen that would be going into the regular season that you would have expected? I'd say Dak's probably going to get extended just for cap reasons, and CD's going to get extended. That happened, but how it happened is important because they're so strategic about the way that they do it because they know they didn't put together a good product enough for you. That's it. The Joneses know they didn't put together a good football team. They know they didn't put together a good 53-man roster like they did last year or the year before. So what they do is they make you buy into hype in a different way. And they prolong this contract talk that should have been done, right? Because we all know it. We all know Dak's going to stay. We all know CD's going to stay. But they want to keep you engaged. They want to stay in the news. So how do they do that? They're not just going to sign that check first day that it's available to sign CD or Dak. They're going to wait until the last possible moment so that when it happens, you've waited so long that you're so excited that it happened and it buys you into this team. And strategically, it happens right before week 1. That's what happened with CD, and that's literally what happened with Dak hours before kickoff against the Cleveland Browns. There's nothing else to get hyped about with this team other than that, so they do that. This team, I've said it, they're top heavy. What happens when it's not 4 and 88? No one's going to run the ball. We're not going to run it over you with Deuce Vaughn or Rico Dowdle. We're not going to do any of that. What other receiver is there besides 88? Brandon Cooks is nice, but with Jalen Tolbert, and everyone's going to be like, well, Kyle, look at the stats. Jalen Tolbert, let me pull it up here. Jalen Tolbert went 6 of 82. Come on, you know that's a bunch of you-know-what. In a 44-19 game, Michael Gallup could get those yards even though he's retired. Well, guess what he did in that division, in that wild card playoff game last year? He had a 100-yard game. They're top heavy. There's not enough weapons on this offense. And defense, look, I'm mad at the offense. I'm getting mad at the offense because I expected better. They've been better. And for them to have still red zone issues and not convert drives into 7 points instead of leaving it at 3 points, that's frustrating. That's frustrating. I'll get the offense out of the way in the first place, and they need to be better. I mean, just 27-39, 293 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. When Dak is good, he's good, and I'll sing his praises, but there are moments where he looks bad. And when he's bad, he's bad. I mean, those 2 interceptions, the first one, let's relax on the first one. Jalen Brooks should be off this football team. Give Ryan Flournoy a chance on this team because Brooks, you're out of here. That's the kind of discipline that this football team needs right now. Not like, oh, one more chance. It's a long season. We'll give you. No, you see plays like that, you're off the team. You're cut because there's a different standard here in Dallas. And you know what? I tweeted it. I said, I would love for Dak to get mad sometimes. I would love, because that first interception is not his fault. He throws it, and this guy, Jalen Brooks, is already slipping. That is not on Dak's pass. That's not Dak's fault. And I would just love for Dak to rip into a receiver on the sideline. And you can even hear Tom Brady talk about it in the broadcast saying, I would never throw your way again for doing that. Doesn't matter the circumstances. There needs to be a higher standard on this team. Not this, you'll get them next time. Next game will be better. There's too much padding of each other. There's too much. Where's the standard in Dallas? Because I'm tired of this, where we're either blowing teams out or we're getting blown out by teams. There needs to be some consistency in Dallas. There needs to be some sort of standard. And look, I think the Cowboys are good. I don't think this fully shows what type of team that they're going to be. And we'll get into that here in a moment. I'll tell you the real reason why this team was absolutely clapped tonight. But I still think they're going to win 8 to 10 games. But I'm tired of the games where we lose and it just looks like a complete anomaly of what this team is. You can't lose games like that. Losing a game by a field goal and a hard effort is totally different from getting completely blown out on your home turf. So that's where I'm at with this game. And for CeeDee Lamb only to have 4 receptions is absolutely criminal. I know he had 90 yards and he had a tutty. 4 receptions when Schoonmaker has 6 and Tolbert has 6. McCarthy, you're on my hot seat as an offensive coordinator. Something suspect with his play calling as an offensive coordinator. I mean, to start the game, a bunch of Deuce and Turpin packages, getting it to the outside, not getting it to CeeDee Lamb soon enough. CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott are your bread and butter. That's what's going to win you games. Not Dak to Cooks, not Dak to Brooks, not Dak to Tolbert. I know we lack identity, but there's identity in Dak and CeeDee. And then there's no surprise that when Dak finally gets the ball to CeeDee, something magical happens. So I got problems with what McCarthy is doing in these first 2 weeks, even though the first one we won and scored 33 points. But it's like we did this last season too, when we couldn't convert red zone possessions into touchdowns when we played the Giants, when we played the Jets, when we played the Patriots. Something needs to happen. So now here's the big thing. Why did we lose? Why did the Cowboys absolutely get killed today? Well, it's a little bit deeper, and we talked about this in my pregame prediction video. It's Kubiak versus Zimmer. It's not so much what Kubiak's doing. Well, it is, but it's what he represents. It's this newer NFL with different creative offenses that do a lot of pre-snap motion, work a lot of creativity in getting the ball into their playmakers' hands and letting the players do the work outside of the quarterback doing much of the work. Because you look at Derek Carr. Derek Carr isn't anything special. He's not a top 10 quarterback in the league, but this dude looked like prime Green Bay Packer Aaron Rodgers against this Dallas Cowboys defense. I mean, if you look at his stats, 11 of 16, 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. I mean, at a point, he was like 5 for 5 for 192 yards. It was straight up a Randy Moss stat line. Anyways, that's the battle with Kubiak's newer NFL offense, where the NFL favors those kind of offenses and favors that kind of scheme over a Cowboys slower, more familiar, basic, fundamental style of defense led by an older coach in Mike Zimmer. And you saw it just rip to shreds today. Cowboys have some playmakers on defense, but it just seemed that everyone was a step slower because they were completely out of scheme. And Kubiak had the blueprint of what to do, how to do it, when to do it. I think the Cowboys have playmakers on defense, and we have the pieces there. But in terms of scheme, just completely exposed in all facets. I mean, rewatch that game, and I'm sure we'll go over it in the film and break it down. But I mean, the Saints were just running it to the wide. They were stretching it, and every single time they got what they wanted. Play actions, RPOs, got these receivers open. It was incredible how much the Saints were open on a lot of plays and how well they were running this ball. It's scheme. It's scheme. And that's why on any given Sunday, any team can beat you in the NFL based on scheme, based on coaching. That's how important that is. And my biggest gripe is I feel like the Dallas Cowboys, if you want to get philosophical here, the Dallas Cowboys have been a step or two behind for the last 30 years in terms of who they choose to run their team and who they choose to call their plays. It's never enough. It's there to win you 8 to 9 ball games, but when in the crucial moments where you need it, it's not enough. It's not enough. And Kubiak comes from the Shanahan tree, and the Cowboys get killed by anyone who was a leaf on that tree. And you saw it again tonight, and we talked about it in my pregame prediction video. We talked about it being a potential X factor, and I mean, it was the factor in deciding this game. Derek Carr fits that system like a glove. He really didn't need to do anything outside of making a throw. And when he did, I mean, there was an interception. Alvin Kamara, 20 carries, 115 yards, 3 touchdowns on top of the other touchdown that he had. So he had 4 total touchdowns. He completely killed the Cowboys today. And this is where it gets it a little bit worse because we wanted a defensive coordinator that could stop the run. And if you're a Cowboys fan, you are well aware of the fact of how important it is for this team to stop the run, not only in crucial regular season moments, but postseason moments. It's the thing that has killed and murdered any kind of Super Bowl championship aspirations. This is not a good sign. This is not a good sign. It's week 2. It's early in the season. I get that. But you never want to put this type of tape this early on in the season so that everyone could see it. Now, not everyone's going to have the personnel. Not everyone's going to have the type of defense. Not everyone's going to have the type of quarterback that the Saints do. And that's why the Cowboys were able to kill the Browns last week in week 1. So the Cowboys are still going to win games. They're still going to be in contention and all that kind of stuff. But it's out there. It's out there. If you want to kill the Cowboys, if you need a go-to play, this is what gets them confused. This is what's going to get you that first down. This is what's going to get you that touchdown in that situation. And the Cowboys now have even a taller task of not only being better, but being better than that and being prepared for that in any situation that comes their way. And the season has just begun. That's the troubling thing about a loss like this. Like I said, it's one thing to lose. It's but how you lose. If you play 16 minutes and you go to toe-to-toe and you lose by a field goal, there's something in that you can take and walk away. This is you were just beat every single part of you, every facet. The only player that I can give a shout out to is Brandon Aubrey, who was 4 of 4. Embarrassing. I want to be mad. I want to raise my voice and be angry with these Cowboys, but on a deeper level, I could have expected it. I'm not surprised anymore. I'm numb to this dumbfoundedness that the Cowboys get spanked at least once or twice a year. That's not... Man, you talk about like accepting your team. That's something we should never accept as Cowboys fans and as these players. And these players, man, you know, Micah's podcast, I could care less about his podcast, but he did have CD on and said, you know, we got to be team. We got to be leaders. We got to be that vocal voice in the locker room. We got to be the team that leads. I got to change. I got to be different. Okay, let's be different. And mind you, this was weeks after getting embarrassed dominated by the Green Bay Packers in a home playoff game. What I saw today, that camera went over there. I saw them pouting. I saw them silent. I saw them quiet. I saw Dak not even raise an octave, not even a decibel at any of his players. I saw Micah have his arms crossed. I saw CD quiet. They got absolutely destroyed today. And no one's safe from it. I'm also mad that Mike Zimmer failed to play DeMarvion Overshown, who was PFF's highest graded player for the Cowboys in week 1. DeMarvion Overshown didn't see the field until like the 3rd or 4th possession. Can we talk about that? I mean, it's just everyone was not prepared for this game, and no one played this game. Coaches, players, head to toe. And it's just a freak show down there in Dallas. It always has been. But like before the game, you got Mike Tyson on the field, players saying hi to him. It's just a whole show. It's a whole show. And then you put up a show like this. But you know what? 88,000 people were in those seats today for the home opener for the Dallas Cowboys. And Jerry was mad that this wasn't a Sunday night football game. Be glad it wasn't a Sunday night football game, that we didn't have to stay up to watch this abysmal performance as they ran over 190 yards against us. We talked about it. We knew. And you know what? True Cowboys fans knew this too. We saw the picks. We saw the odds. I still chose the Cowboys to win because I felt like they could win. I was wrong. But real Cowboys fans knew. As soon as we saw everyone picking the Cowboys, we're like, hold up. We know this team. Hold up. We know this team. Because when the lights are on, the spotlight's on, this team needs to win, this team needs to do this. What do? They don't. And, I mean, I think it's deeper than Dak. I think it's deeper possibly than Mike. But, okay, silver linings. Silver linings. It is week 2. It is week 2. We are 1-1. Originally, this is where I had us at the beginning of the season. My season prediction video, I had these games swapped. I thought we were going to lose to the Browns, and I thought we were going to beat the Saints. Obviously swapped. But we're 1-1. It's week 2. And at least, and I told you guys this, I said, don't drink the tea. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Let's see what type of team this is. Because they need to win us back. Because we don't trust them. We don't trust them. We trusted them to win at home against Green Bay, but they never did. So they have to earn our trust back so that we can buy merch, buy tickets, buy everything. So I said, don't drink the tea just yet. Let's see what this team has. Can they repeat this performance? Because what do I say all the time? I say good teams do it. Great teams do it on a consistent basis. Let's see if they can do it again. Let's see if this defense can do it again. Let's see if this offense can improve and build, and they didn't. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. And that's why I don't think I was really mad during this game. I hated the fact that we're losing a game that we probably should win, but I'm sitting there with my arms crossed saying, you know what? I just want to see what this team does. I want to see what team we have. This is the type of team we have. There's your silver lining. Now you don't have to, wonder and, what type of team are we? What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? Those are our weaknesses. Can't stop the run if they run it to the outside. We can get out schemed easily by anything remotely close to that Shanahan tree. We don't have a wide receiver 3. It's Dak and CD versus the world. And our offensive play caller, Mike McCarthy, is too conservative, needs to be more aggressive. And Mike Zimmer is a little bit of a coaching malpractice by not putting Overshown at the start of the game. We got good players, but it comes down to good coaches too. We're still going to win some games, guys, but I don't know how far we're going to go. And I feel like we've been there for years. That's my reaction to this game. We lose, get killed, 44-19, and now we got the mother flipping Baltimore Ravens coming into town. Yeah. Time to grow up. Time to grow, time to grow a backbone here. And Cowboys are good at bouncing back. I know that. So it'll be interesting to see what they do next week against the Ravens. Because people are looking at this and they're like, I don't know about the Cowboys. But I hate that I know the Cowboys. And I know that they're probably not going to put up another performance like this next week. If they do, we'll talk about it. But if not, that's it. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to put down your Cowboys reaction down below. And I will see you guys for a film breakdown tomorrow or Tuesday. I'll see you then. Go Cowboys.
Yeah, here we go. Here's it out for Lamb.